Hey, Ravage right here, back with another episode of the Roundup series where I talk about multiple things in regards to the Second Amendment. I don't go into great detail, but rather I just big picture it. Series more intended for those who maybe don't have a lot of time on their hands, but still want to stay informed around the Second Amendment. That's what I do here on the Roundup. So yeah, let's get right into it. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to talk about, real quick, as always, as at this point, Oregon ballot measure 114. Okay, so I didn't have much of an update last week, and I still don't have much of an update. Okay, there was a hearing on December 23rd in regards to the closing the Charleston loophole a portion. No rulings have come out of that, as far as I know, that is. So, what the Charleston loophole is basically federal law says that if somebody purchases a firearm, if the background check doesn't come through within 3 business days, the FFL is allowed to transfer that firearm anyways within 3 business days. They basically want to close that and make it so you have to wait until the background check is done, basically delaying you for a potentially indefinite period of time, which, as we know, a right delayed is a right denied. So it's pretty, not a good situation, but it is what it is. There's no ruling on that yet. To my knowledge, there was a hearing in regards to that portion on December 23rd. But yeah, so that's what I'm able to find at this point. I will say there's kind of, coverage is kind of becoming less and less, it would seem, on ballot measure 114. Like when this first was rolling out, and even like quite a ways into it, it was not hard for me to find information in regards to it. Last couple of weeks it has been, so I don't know if that's either A, just because there's not too much going on right now, or B, people are just starting to care less already about it. But I don't really know what the situation is. I'm having a difficult time finding a lot of information in regards to that. Because, I don't have people that I can call up and say, like, hey, like, what's going on with this? I certainly don't have people calling me telling me what's going on, like many people who do these type of videos do. So I don't have all that. So I just have to dig around on the internet to find my information, and there hasn't been a lot on this, but yeah, that's what I believe the case is at this point. Not much of an update. So moving on. Okay, so now we're talking about gun control in general. Okay, so at this point, it would seem that all federal gun control bills are most likely dead. Okay, now of course we still got to keep an eye on it, because yes, it's possible that something random and unforeseen happens, but it's unlikely, especially today. Okay, at this point, it's almost absolutely not. Okay, so all federal gun control bills are probably dead. Like I said, outside of something outrageous and unforeseen, probably dead though. Okay, so that's good. Still got to keep an eye on it, but we definitely got to keep in mind that the new Congress is going to be sworn in on January 3rd. Okay. Next session could be, it's probably going to be just as bad or worse. The makeup is different. It kind of could go either way. Gun control bills kind of could go either way in the House or the Senate, or House and the Senate. Gun control could go either way, right? Because yes, the Democrats have control in the Senate, but they don't have filibuster-proof numbers. And yes, Republicans have the majority in the House, but they don't have really enough of a majority to where, depending on how many rhinos are in there, gun control could still get through. So it could go either way in either chamber, really. as far as that goes. So, we just got to keep that in mind. So we got to keep an eye on that as the new Congress comes in. But what we really need to be paying attention to at this time and going forward the next few months, right? State level gun control, okay? This is a time that states are really trying to ban things, okay? So whatever state you live in, you got to keep an eye on potential state level gun control, okay? There's some states, however, that are worse, okay? Because there's horrible gun states, right? California, New York, New Jersey, the list goes on. And there's good gun states, Texas, pretty good, Alaska, Montana, Idaho, whatnot, the list goes on. I wouldn't expect any of those good gun states to get worse. And obviously the horrible ones are going to try to get worse, but it's already really, really bad, right? But I'm more worried about those states that are pretty bad, but not horrible yet. Like my state of Washington and Oregon, Colorado, Michigan, New Mexico, states like that. The list goes on. Those are the states I'm really watching because I'm thinking they're really wanting to go from bad to worse or from bad to really bad, right? So gotta watch out for state level gun control, especially if you live in one of these bad but not horrible states for guns. Your state may be looking to go from bad to worse, so gotta keep an eye on state level gun control going forward at this time, okay? So that's really just a little bit of an update there on gun control in general. So moving on. Okay, now in this next section, we're going to be talking about ATF Overreach. Okay, so we're all familiar with ATF Overreach, I'm sure, in the Second Amendment community. Okay, so the ATF has decided yet again to change the definition of a firearm, all right? To back it up a little bit, this summer of 2022, they decided to reinterpret laws around what constitutes a firearm, okay, frame or receiver, which ATF does not have the ability to do legislatively. Doing it anyways. ATF is a rogue agency, as we know. Anyway, so what they did is basically these 80% lowers, like polymer 80 and whatnot, they were being sold in kits. They weren't technically a firearm, of course, so you could buy this in a kit. It had, instructions, a jig, which is what you need to complete that, and other things, okay? People could buy those. They could build their own firearm, which is legal to build your own firearm as long as you don't sell it, okay? It always has been in this country. Well, they decided that no, that's not acceptable. These are firearms because they're readily convertible, all right? Well, so they did that this summer, okay? And then basically people started selling these 80% lowers again by themselves. No instructions, no tools, no other accessories you might need to complete that. And that fell under the ATF's, the rule change that they did this summer. That was acceptable under that, okay? So people have been selling them by themselves. You got to get your instructions. You got to get your jigs elsewhere, okay? Well, now ATF, a few days ago, decides, oh, well, we just can't have people doing that. We want to know who has firearms, okay? We can't have people making firearms themselves, even though it's always been legal, and ATF doesn't even have the power to make law, okay? It's all neither here nor there to Biden's ATF. So they decided, nope, now that piece of raw material, the 80% lower, on its own, is now a firearm in and of itself. And of course, if it's a firearm, that means we're talking about a Form 4473, just like any other firearm you may buy, okay? So if you're a builder, got to keep it in mind. If you're an FFL, really got to keep it in mind. Um, there was an open letter. If you're in FFL, you've probably seen it. But if not, then, there's an open letter from ATF in regards to this. But the point is, they changed their opinion yet again. And now, 80% lowers of Glock type handguns is what they said. Polymer striker fired handguns, basically. Those 80% lowers in any form are now firearms in the ATF's opinion, okay, and according to the ATF. So it's obnoxious. I expect, honestly, nothing less from ATF, so it is what it is, but definitely something you should be aware of, and you should keep it in mind, especially if you're a builder or an FFL, but in general. So, that's really all there's to say about that. Moving on. Next topic. Okay, last but not least, we're talking about ATF yet again. Their rule change on firearms with attached stabilizing braces. Okay, that rule change has been delayed. Okay, we expected to see the final rule on this come out this month, December. It has been delayed apparently until next month, January, but it was supposed to come out this month, so who knows? We'll get it. We'll see it when we see it, right? It'll drop when it drops. Who knows when that'll be? It was supposed to be this month. ATF has been trying for quite some time now to change this rule, okay? So basically, to give a little bit of backstory, they tried before to change this. They got so much public outcry that they actually weren't able to do it at that time. Okay, so it was supposed to come out December 2022. Obviously, I just said that's been delayed. So basically, what they're trying to do, they're trying to take firearms that are pistols, okay, like AR pistol, AK pistol, the list goes on. Those are considered pistols, okay. The stabilizing braces are just that, a stabilizing brace, okay. Well, ATF basically wants to reclassify those as short-barreled rifles, SBRs, which, as we know, are NFA items. They're subject to a tax stamp and a registry and whatnot with ATF. So ATF is basically trying to say that pistol brace is now a stock, which makes those firearms, those pistols, short-barreled rifles, even though it's not a stock, which doesn't make it a rifle, but they're trying to say it is a stock. It's just an obnoxious situation. Anyway, that's what the rule change is in regards to. We in the community have been waiting for this rule, this final rule to drop for quite some time. Like I said, it was supposed to come out this month. Didn't. Has been delayed, so it'll come out when it comes out. I guess this is good for those who have these firearms with these stabilizing braces. Give them a little more time to decide what they want to do, okay? There's basically 4 options in what you can do. I'm not an attorney, but I'll run through them. It's basically you could, to my understanding, do not take legal advice from me. You could remove the brace from your firearm. You could put a 16-inch barrel on the firearm. You could register it with ATF. I wouldn't recommend that. Or you could destroy the firearm, which I wouldn't recommend that either. I think those are the 4 options. Again, don't ever take legal advice from me. I put that in all my descriptions too, because nope, not an attorney. So that's basically the situation. Again, obnoxious. Again, I expect nothing less from ATF, but it is what it is. It's unfortunate. Of course, I shouldn't need to say this, but I do not agree with all this ATF overreach at all. But yeah, I'm just bringing the news. That is what it is. The rule change has been delayed, and that is all there is to say about that. So I'm gonna get out of here. Well, this has been another episode of The Roundup. Okay, so if you want to continue seeing episodes of this series, you can subscribe to my channel. Let me know in the comments if there's anything else you would like to see on this channel. Definitely, Happy New Year's. New Year's Eve tomorrow night. Have a good one. Hopefully next year treats you well. If you're a firearms owner, probably not, but maybe. So I'm gonna get out of here. Goodbye.